This is a very common scenario that happens to a lot of people. I used to do this too. Let's say they want to go out there, get started towards a goal. Make it simple. I'm going to start going to the gym 5 times a week. Then Monday comes around. They're supposed to, let's say, hit chest or today's supposed to be push day. And then they say, you know what? I'll just start tomorrow. Let me just skip today. Next day comes around. They skip. And then time goes by and they only go to the gym maybe once or twice that week. And even if they stay consistent for a bit of time, it never goes past anything more than a few weeks, maybe more than 2 months if they're lucky. And then the cycle just repeats of them procrastinating. And then the same thing applies to everything else in their life, whether it be the gym, studying for something, maybe getting into some type of online business, learning a new skill set, you name it. It's this constant self sabotaging loop. And all of this stems from is your identity. So I know this doesn't really make sense right now. He's like, what do you mean it's based on my identity? Well, what I mean by that is it's based on how you view yourself and how you talk about yourself. So usually people that deal with issues of this self-sabotaging loop where you say you're gonna do something and you don't do it, it's usually caused by a issue with trusting yourself. And this stems from you constantly breaking your word to yourself. Examples of this is, let's say, like the previous example, you say you're going to go to the gym and then you don't actually go to the gym. What that does to your subconscious is it's now training yourself to let yourself know that, hey, it's okay for me to lie to myself, rather break my promises to myself. And obviously what that does over time is it makes you complacent to it, and it makes you accepting of something, breaking your word, which in my opinion is literally one of the worst possible things you can do, because obviously speaking, every single action you take in this life is dependent on your thoughts, right? And if you have really bad thoughts that are causing you to break promises to yourself, your actions are going to be very poor. This is how people end up 30 years old, 40 years old, 50 years old, and having done nothing with their lives. This is why I'm so terrified of this happening to me and why I personally take my word so serious. And you might be on pace to do this too if we're just looking at the harsh reality of things. If you're a guy and you're, let's say, 18 to 25 and you're in this loop of saying you're going to do something and you don't do it and you're broke, you're out of shape, you're just not where you want to be in life, you're not progressing, and you're not on the trajectory you know you should be on, you could easily end up 40 or 50 years old and just be cooked. And I know it might not really fully register in your mind right now, but dude, we only get one life. And you can mess up that one life very easily if you get on the wrong path and you continue down that wrong path. My worst fear personally is ending up on my deathbed and I look back at my life and I go to myself, wow, I really messed up. I really failed to live up to my full potential. And then that would just destroy me, knowing that I'm on my deathbed and there's literally nothing I can do to change that. Because that's the thing, guys. Time is the only thing we have, and it's so important that you realize that. Every single day that goes by without you actually making progress towards your goal is a day wasted. It's that serious. We only get one life. But that goes back to what I was saying, okay? If you find yourself in this situation where you keep on self-sabotaging yourself, it's due to a poor form of identity. If you, and the first step to fixing this is to remove all language that ties into this current identity of. So the goal of this is to basically reshape your identity and how you view yourself. And to basically quote unquote kill this old version of yourself or the current version of yourself and start acting like the successful version of yourself. Essentially, it's like a fat person, they can't just get in shape magically. They have to start acting like an in shape person. And over time, obviously, an in shape person, they go to the gym 5 times a week, they follow their diet, things of that nature. If a fat person starts doing that, they're obviously not going to be in shape right away, but they continue every single day to act in alignment with that most successful version of self. Let's say in this scenario, that version of self with a six pack, it's going to take a matter of time before they get that six pack. But it all starts with actually becoming that person, or starting to act like that person rather, and becoming that person. So step one of this is to basically sit down with yourself and ask yourself, hey, I'm not where I want to be at right now. What is this ideal version of myself? Let's say your goal is to make 6 figures a year, to make it simple, and to have a six pack. Write down on a piece of paper what that person does every single day, how they speak about themselves, how they dress. what they do on a daily basis when what their habits are, what time they wake up, things of that nature. You want to almost be like autistic with this, guys. This is what I did when I first started out in online business, and this is before I got any of the success I've had. I'm not the most successful person, but I've made a few bucks online, so I feel like I'm at least qualified enough to give some type of advice on this. But yeah, this is the first thing I did. I wrote out before I even hit my first 10K month or anything like that. I was like broke right out of the high school. I'm 21 now. I wrote on a piece of paper what I wanted out of my most successful version. So I knew the actions to take every single day. So I knew I was on the right trajectory path. So that's step number one. Step number two is actually acting in line with this person every single day. And at first, this is going to be really, really hard because you're really comfortable in your current shell right now. And it's going to take a lot of effort to start acting in line with that person. You don't have to do it right away. An example I like to use is, let's say an old habit of yours is you would snooze every morning. Instead of just find a solution to not snooze. So you don't have to worry about acting and doing all the tasks you just lined out on that first step. Just focus bit by bit at a time. Take baby steps with it. So that could be, okay, for the next week, I'm just going to make sure to wake up on time. You do that for a week. Okay, now what's that doing? That's slowly giving yourself confidence and slowly putting evidence in your subconscious mind that, hey, I'm actually capable of acting it like this most successful person. Right? So then once you get habit number one, let's say waking up on time. Habit number two, I'm going to start eating healthier. You do that for a week. Boom. Okay, now you're slowly stacking up the momentum. Week number three comes around. I'm going to start hitting the gym consistently, so on and so forth. And then what you're going to do over time is you're going to slowly morph into this new version of yourself. And then that old version of yourself that you don't want to be like, that's slowly going to chip away, or that's slowly going to dissolve. And that's going to allow you to essentially improve every single day and get closer to those goals of yours. But yeah, that's really how you stop basically self-sabotaging. It always comes down to your identity, guys. It's a super simple concept. It's not like a rocket science thing or anything like that. Because like I was saying earlier in the video, everything comes down to your actions, which are dictated to your thoughts. So the first step to solving any type of issue in your life is realizing what thoughts am I accepting to be in my head right now that are allowing me to make these stupid ass decisions. Another example of this is you could have a limiting belief like, oh, I'm just not the type of guy to follow through on my word, which is obviously BS, right? And you keep on feeding yourself that type of thought. An easy way to just get rid of that is you start going right against that belief. So, okay, if I have this old belief of I'm not the person that follows through on my word, how can I start changing that? Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say I'm gonna do something and do it right away. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You could just say like, I'm gonna go make my bed right now. You go make your bed. Boom, you just made evidence to yourself that you are the person that can follow through with their word, so on and so forth. But yeah, I don't want to beat a dead horse. That's definitely it for the video here. I just want to make this quickly because I think this would help a lot of you guys out there. Because a lot of the times people just get in their own way. A lot of people they're cut out to be great and have a lot of great things for them and live up to certain potentials, but they always get in their way because of the way they talk to themselves and the thoughts that they allow into their mind. And the first step to that is creating that new identity of yourself and acting in line with that most successful version. But yeah, I'll leave you guys to it. If you want to go ahead and follow me on Instagram, go ahead and do so. If you want to get into not high ticket sales, life insurance sales, which is what I do, and make 10, 15K a month working from home, hit me up on Instagram as well. Take care.